anybody else's hands as
Yeah.
regarding the factionalism that
Yeah.
follows after
But
these
also,
things.
Mr. I want to move on from this, but I want
Okay.
to say that what I want to say, because I don't because there are so many questions we don't. There, I
Uh,
want the pictures back up though. If we can have those pictures, I want to
uh,
celebrate this young lady that in the midst of all of this, and this is a kind of people that Mr. Thorne has around him. This young lady here, I love young people, and I love young people who are focused, and this young lady is one. I said today, she is made of steel, and she should be a keeper. This woman, she's the chairman of the branch. I don't think she's even 30 yet, but so strong, a strong individual. And to see that she was able to still pull this off with a change of venue. This is the kind of thing that this is leadership. Something happened and she's able to pivot. She's able to pivot. Some people would not have had the meeting. She was able. The youth is the future, Teroni. That's what I want to come out of this segment. The youth is the future, and no, she's not trying to run for that constituency. She's the chairman of the branch. She helped Michael Lashley when he was running. That's her job. So what she's doing basically is building up the branch for Mr. Lashley, but for when he's ready, or whoever the person is going to be. That's her job, and she's carrying out her job and doing such a fantastic thing of it. And I'm going to salute Janine Butcher tonight as one woman of steel, you see there. And so when they talk about the propaganda about young people not in the party, please, I want to show you, because the media, the mainstream media will not show you this. What they will harp on is what was on the paper yesterday. So I'm using this platform that she didn't ask me. I was trying to get her to come on. She's not even answering her phone. I chose to do this tonight because I want to celebrate this young woman made of steel,
me-
Barbadian.
uh,
Yes.
I just before we end, I just like to say that I look forward to hearing Mr. Lashley speaking fulsomely as he normally does about his position as soon as possible to help clarify and stabilize the situation. I look forward to him representing his own case and his own self.
Correct, and that's what he said in the paper. Yes, yes, very
Right.
well said. That's what he said in the paper, that he's going to speak. So I felt like because all the media, social media platforms have carried it, and I left it alone. Different people all over WhatsApp. I did nothing about it. I saw it in the newspaper yesterday, and I said to myself, you know what, Marcy, look into this and say something about it, and that's what I did tonight. So and again, I started off by saying that Mr. Lashley, I know him to be a very good MP, and he has done very, very well in the constituency. It's not where I live, but I go there, and my children went to school in that particular area. So, well, I think tonight we are going to open up the lines for people to call in. Stephen Strickland said the youth are not the future; they are the present. You are right. You are right. Yes, yes. The youth, and oh, I love it. I love to see them at work. Right? Yeah, I love to see them at work. Yes, that's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful for our youth. That is just wonderful. Let me also just use this opportunity to say, okay, Miss McLean just said Janine is a gem. I think so too. I am just flabbergasted at what was able to accomplish. The average person would not be doing that meeting. But that's wonderful. Yeah, I want to open up the lines. I don't know. We have to give us a give us a couple minutes to get it established, right? But I think Dave, you have an independent song you wanted to play. I hope you don't I don't mess up my thing. Okay, good. Go ahead.
Beautiful, beautiful Barbados. Gem.
Okay, something went wrong there because it's not playing by me. Are you hearing it, Mr. Murray?
Visual. I'm
Are
not
you
hearing
hearing
anymore.
it?
No, I'm not hearing. I'm just seeing the visual. It seems to
Yes.
have been frozen. Oh, it's coming back again.
Beautiful, beautiful Barbados. Gem.
Okay, so it's not playing. That would have been a good one. You like that song, Mr. Murray?
Oh, of course. When he lived in Canada and the Merrymen came out to perform in the winter, they used to bring tears to their eyes when they sang that song. To think about Barbie, every time, amazing. Right? They used to do it so well. Yeah, it was a great song, Barbie. There's another
Yes,
one called "Welcome the Morning Sun." Welcome the Morning Sun by
yes,
Alberta
yes,
Deco. That's another beautiful one also.
yes. But I saw this someone sent this to me. I don't know if you heard about the speech that the Prime Minister gave at um the funeral.
I heard about it. Yeah, I didn't watch it myself. I heard a bit about it. Tell me.
Yes, so I'm gonna read something here because it sounded like another speech that was given before, is it before World Cup? And I remember Caswell was commenting on it because she somehow it seemed to either be mixing up things or whatever. But it's quite interesting if I can find it to comment on. I'm trying here to try to find it. But I believe that you probably would know more about this than I would because since seeing you have seen so many governments. But I just want to read. Somebody wrote, yesterday I sat at Henry Ford's funeral and heard Mia Motley talk utter nonsense in a tribute that lasted 36 minutes. She
Wow.
congratulated Henry Ford for passing the Succession Act, which, according to her, gave all children equal status, whether born within or outside of wedlock. The Succession Act was not passed by Henry Ford.
Right, right.
The Succession Act was passed prior to 1976 by the government of the DLP under Errol Barrow. The Succession Act was concerned with matters of inheritance that stipulated as to how property was to be distributed on the death of the property owner. The Succession Act was not about the equal status of children. The act that Henry Ford passed that provided for the equal status of children was the Status of Children Reform Act of 1981. Mayor Motley continues to talk utter nonsense to people who do not know, and those who know, they remain silent. She said it with all puffed arrogance and embarrassing ignorance. She ended her speech by saying that Henry Ford taught her the simple lessons that the means should never justify the ends. It seems that the message that the ends should never justify the means is not a simple message after all. Maybe she believes what she said. It's interesting because I remember Caswell making a comment like this before, where she was saying that when the first World Cup, that she left home, she left school to to go to watch it, and then something came about, but it was on a Saturday. So it's a lot of these, and a lot of the older people, the older people just, I thought while you're sitting here, I would just read it, seeing that we don't have Mr. Todd, where we're filling as we go. What's your comment on that?
My first comment is that she spoke almost as long in her tribute for Mr. Ford's Mr. Ford for 36 minutes as she did for Mr. Arthur. She spoke for 45 minutes, 41 minutes, when she really should have only spoken for between 10 and 15 minutes. And therefore, it into Mr. Arthur's cousin's time, Dr. Elliot Duglin, who had who grew up with him and knew it. So these, so I can remember it's almost as long as, and I, so, but I'm not surprised, because my constant complaint is the Prime Minister does not spend time reading, researching, and writing her speeches. She wings it too much, and you can only get absorbed so much at one time, especially you're flying all over the place. You have
Mm-hmm.
to sit down. You have to sit, like, just like you, Bar. So when you have a project to do, you have to sit down and monitor and be stationary and monitor it and focus on it. You can't
Yes.
be taking phone calls, going out to going to the beach, going to church, and come back and hope to have the kind of quality presentation that you have at the end. And it's the same process. You have to put in the time, which the Prime Minister does not. She does not put in as much time as all other Prime Ministers have done in Barbados. And she's flown more in 6 years than all the others, I believe, put together. Right? That is a fact. And that disrupts your schedule. It disrupts it. You have to there's a lot of paper involved in government. You have to be able to read and find and do things. You can't just wing it and hear and you get a brief and hope you got it right and do. That's why I think that's all part of the confusion, the messiness, and the bad implementation, because
Mm-hmm.
there's not enough step by step more. Yeah, it is not exciting stuff, but to get it right, you got to pay attention. You cannot be paying. Because if you are the final decision maker, for example, my favorite beef is the Prime Minister is not uh, an economist. She's not a trained economist. I don't even know if she's done Econ 101. Where the Prime Minister has to take advice on 4 or 5 different economists who can bring different opinions on this. Which one does she decide on? On what grounds does she believe one against the other? Because you don't have the technical skills on the ground. In the same way, the Attorney General has to be and should be a lawyer of some experience. I wrote the last 2 things the Nation published to me in 2014. I wrote 2 articles in 2 successive sentences saying that the next Prime Minister of Barbados, next Minister of Finance should be a trained economist. And I'm saying it. I'm saying it. Right? You have to have like your job, Mark, your role. When somebody talks about filmmaking or directing or producing, as soon as that you because of your training, your experience, etc., you can begin to follow whether they're making sense or not. They're going
Yeah.
along because you're grounded in it. If you are not, you can't depend on your instincts or who you like or who you don't like, who you believe is. It's plus economics and finance are empirically driven data. Figures facts. You have to be able to follow and make sense of it. So
Yes.
there's no escaping from the job. The job is a demanding job. It's a 24-hour job, 365 days. You have to be prepared to put in, put in the effort to get the desired results.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm listening to you, and I can understand that, because I just traveled. When you get back, it's very difficult to get back in the flow of things, and for there to be continuity. Sometimes it take you a couple of days to get over the jet lag, and then to get back into the thing. And she, I mean, I think that is one of her challenges, and so she's not prepared. It's impossible. She's not prepared for what she has to do. And the thing about this is that it's how I could just imagine her spewing this thing out, and looking so confident doing it. You know,
I, I,
she's so confident, she's speaking, and everybody probably they're nodding, and she's, probably not using any notes. She probably didn't, I didn't see her, but she probably didn't write the speech. And because of being unprepared, then she would make a blunder like this. This is a huge blunder. And would be talking for so long, 36 minutes, and not knowing what you're talking about, but you sound good. And basically, that's what has happened to us. I'm going to say that is what has happened. The
but,
exact thing
well,
that happened at that funeral is what happened to Barbados, Mr. Murray.
let me tell you that uh, I think the Prime Minister is a talented person, but from my experience with her over the many years, we sat down around a cabinet table for 9 years where I was her equal as ministers. And she never demonstrated any superior intellect to anybody.
Mm,
She was good in present. She never came with any judgments, insights, thing that in my 9 years that I ever heard that wow you. Talk a lot, talk long, very often have to be interrupted. I remember something Prime Minister asked, I said, Minister Bowley, give me a chance. Let me make my point. Let me finish. Let me talk. Okay, that's
so you're
so
saying that from in your days with her in cabinet that she would talk a lot.
of course.
Mm,
Even on a topic as or something on a topic which was not her purview and not her ministerial responsibility. That is a natural that is a natural persona as a alpha A woman type, dominant, involved all the time. If you study her personality, you that is to have they like to dominate, like to be upfront, leading all the time. That's why she would like to travel an entourage of 20, 30 people. It gives something to the ego. I mean, command, I mean, control all the time. But I remember as a prime minister or governor, you get all kind of invitations to the prime minister. And
mm.
sometimes the prime minister, prime minister after would often send other persons. I'm saying no, let the embassy get a report from the discussion. There's going to be a report. Let us get the report and we get what we need and we can move for that report. It's in other words, don't send everybody everywhere to everything. He himself often, I remember when it was High Commission in Canada, and the Barbadians and Otto was Toronto were complaining he was not coming there. He said he would come up there if he's going to sign something that would benefit Barbados, advance Barbados' cause. He's not going to come just for 2 or 3 days to be on a frolic, and he's not going to do anything meaningful. So he'd always send other person or say, I have representatives to do what else is to be done. But there's a different persona. Um, in the final analysis, all politics is local, and the adulation of a lot of adulation just for far more polite.
But
Because
Mr. Murray, let just break there a little bit, because I know I'm here just trying to, I'm listening to you, and I'm wondering if Barbadians are listening to Mr. Murray. We're going to do one of those things that we've been doing. Just take it in slowly. Mr. Murray is 18. I said, he's 81. I call him 18 years old. Okay, sharp as a tack. And Mr. Murray has sat in cabinet meetings with Prime Minister Mia Mottley, and he is explaining to us, because I'm now getting a better understanding. Because you're seeing the product. You're seeing, no, we are now, she's prime minister, and we're seeing her colors. Then we're seeing what she's made of. But now you're getting a better understanding that he's telling us that sometime Prime Minister Arthur would have to tell her, okay, all right, give somebody else a chance to speak now. Do you understand? It's good to understand it, because when you understand, you'll be able to understand the person. So what I got from that, it's like, when you're in a class and you have somebody that just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and then they don't produce as much. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Murray?
but I'm saying also, if you were to talk to a person, even know that she's prime minister, who have attended meetings with her, the dominance usually um, obtains because that's the doctrine. You're telling people more that as if to say, I know more about what you are doing and supposed to say and do and believe that you do. So you're always dominating and guiding and overshadowing, etc. I'm sure it happens with the White Open ministers also. So, but the point is, you have to put in the donkey work, right? You have to. Uh, I remember, um, especially the more important the occasion was the greater the greater time, the more time Prime Minister Adam and Arthur were put into preparing their speech for the occasion. They were writing most of it. They would get reports, etc., in preparation, but they would basically write it in longhand. And it's their words. It is their thoughts. They didn't bring it and say all kind of things that could come back to haunt you. Like the cat,
The guy.
and it
This
matches the red. It matches the red. Yeah, yeah. But
Lord help me tonight. Oh Lord help me tonight. Listen,
so so
no, I tell you something. People will say, that when you see, oh Lord, I don't even know where to begin. But just listening to you makes me realize that okay, so there's some issue where she feels she must
let,
be in charge all the time.
of course, of course, of
Okay.
course, right.
Yeah, so
But
she must be in charge. She must be in charge all the time, and that is what is happening. I think, Mr. Murray, you have a lot. You're filling in a lot of gaps for us, and so
and
you
there
got to help.
and there are many more which I can fill, and I will fill at the opportune. Timing is always important. Believe
Well,
me, I have seen the Prime Minister at her desk in cabinet or in other meetings, and I've also seen her at her worst. And if you doubt me, you can ask Elizabeth Thompson about it. I will say no more at this stage on that matter.
yeah, yeah. But the thing about this is it's important for us Barbadians to be able to understand who it is that we need to understand the leader. Because I think if we know you're explaining to me how she was in cabinet with you, now I understand. I can understand why under her government that they would come up with the cybercrime bill. It makes sense to me. Because sometimes you wonder, like, what are they thinking? What's going on? But the whole thing, I'm thinking of the kind of personality. And oftentimes we choose people because they have a big personality. They fill up a room, right? Oftentimes we do that. Oftentimes, because there's a charisma, the way they speak, as I just read to you that she was speaking at the funeral, and what she was saying, parts of what she was saying was just not facts. Not facts. It's not history. She was making up her own history. But people there said nothing. Or well, of course, you can't say anything at a funeral. But I'm saying that how we normally would deal with that, we sit and we shake our
Let,
head and we let her go
let,
along because she convinces us that it's truth.
let me make another point. I've had various interactions, longer, more intimate with all the leaders in Barbados of one time or another. Granny Adams, Cummings, Dr. Cummings, Mr. Barrow, etc. Barbados has had a history of outstanding leaders who were well educated, right? Most of them won Barbados scholarships, top of the line intellects. All right, they could speak well, present well, and that was the kind of tradition we've had an expectation of leaders. I think Miss Morley has benefited from that expectation and that thing because she presents well, she talks as though knows what she's talking about, it flows, etc. You're impressed. But as a journalist who would have to listen to a boy talk for hours or a 25, 6 page, and you have all go in the House of Assembly, 2 hours, and you have to distill it, analyze it, critique it to get stories or the news out of it. There's there's seldom ever very much news being news, something that is fresh and new and different coming out of Miss Motley's presentations. There's a lot of repetition. Very often you said, as that famous ad used to say with McDonald, where's the beef? Where's the beef? Where's the story? What kind of story you should have? The most important, probably thing the person said, especially is you, to make the lead and the story. So I think you struggle to become a good journalist, and a lot of the exports give only because she's prime minister. Not only that, one of the first things the prime minister did was to appoint was to change the official qualifications for a post called Director of Communications, which was a professional where you had to have a degree, etc., and call it Director of Communications and Social Media, and appoint her own PR man, Dr. Charlie Jung, who was an excellent video man, editing and put together, excellent. He's worked all through the Caribbean with their leaders and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So when he travels with her, this is in-house material all the time coming out because for a person who's paid. It's like a celebrity prime minister thing where you have your own retinue of staff and they send out WhatsApp and social media, but to keep your image, your reputation buzzing all the time. That is what you're saying.
So you're saying she's behaving, it's like a celebrity PM.
Oh yeah, celebrity. Yeah.
Wow.
Because I mean maybe that is the modern trend for some PM, but certainly when they compare the other leaders, they would want everything they do or say everything to be in the pictures or mention. They want meat, they want substance, they want beef. Because that's a very wise caution because it's something a human behavior, a human perception of overexposure.
Hmm.
Where after a person things, as the Beijing said, they get tired seeing you. Give a
Hmm.
break, man. And there's and so and then there's a reluctance to be able to engage you because uh, paradise, she ready here. So that is a natural product if you are constantly being exposed and in people's faces and the living room, etc. Right?
Hmm.
All good politicians are very selective of what they want exposed all the time, publicly and at their public. Not
Correct.
everything, not everything deserves a mention or picture or whatever, because it's overexposure that happens and people get tired. Or tired is like drinking the same eat the same meal every day.
Hmm.
Afterwards, no matter how delicious it was at first, you want a break. Want to try something different. Want to hear something different. That is human behavior.
Yes.
So,
Yes. That is so true. And there's a comment here that I was thinking about this today. That she is such, I know people say to me, oh, she's not a great speaker. I think she's a great speaker. I think she's very good, because somebody's saying here that sometimes she goes into the Bajan parlance when there's certain times that she will do it. She chooses when that is going to happen. And so this is why I want us tonight to be very conscious of what we're discussing tonight. And this is not, we're not saying that she's worse than anybody else. We're saying that you've got to listen carefully when she's speaking. When she's speaking, because she's confident, doesn't mean that what she's saying is correct. And you've got to sit down, you've got to double check and triple check. And Barbadians need to reach that point where we don't take everything that is coming out of our mouth as the truth. Go and check. She's a politician, and over the years we have seen where we were promised things, and she comes up and she says things off the cup. Says things, not research. Look at the whole thing with the tint. She just came off a plane, and they had, she called, and she just decided to just say it because if it was something thought out, how could the attorney general then have to come to clean up? She's not thinking through, but we want Barbadians to begin now. As you go into this next phase, to stop and to think about what she's saying. Don't
Mar- Mar-
swallow
Mar-
everything. Go ahead, Mr.
Marcia, you have to be. Of course, she's an most of an excellent presenter, in form. You have to separate form from substance, from content. You understand? So they're not the same. Beautiful sound good, but when you if you critically analyze it, and most Barbie, I don't think there's a household in every. There's not a family in Barbie in which somebody didn't go to university or community college, church. They can think, they can critically analyze, and they're exposed to information. So therefore, we are the same way. We have to critically analyze not only anybody who talks to us to see if there's what is in it and does it make sense or how does it add up or what.